welcome to my channel. Welcome to this week's WiPnChat. Now, things might look a little bit wonky. I'm actually working on this upside down on the canvas in front of me, but I've flipped it so that she looks like she's the right way up for you guys. So, hopefully I won't be pointing out things and we'll see if it gets too confusing. I have 7 colours, that's what I'm working on. So I've got these 7. And as usual, they're off to the side. I have a fresh pot of tea. Yeah, my big mug. I have literally just recorded a live floss tube for March. I feel like such a live rookie. And the people who came into my live were very, very gracious. It was certainly not expected. What I had hoped to do was actually schedule it to give me 5 minutes to kind of get used to it. But it just went live straight away, and it was like, oh, right, I'm live. Okay. And then I went to try and edit the thing just to trim off the beginning, because, you know, sloppy beginnings, bit slow going. Excuse me, I'm choking on my t-shirt. Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know, I don't know if I can insert an intro or anything, so yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, it was a impromptu floss tube. I didn't see Dave live. Dave is Diamond Dave, and my floss tube is a floss tube, so it wasn't diamond painting or anything. It just would have been familiar crafters. So it was a different topic, and I kind of thought, oh yeah, what the heck. Now, what I am looking for is photos. I actually have more videos than I have of photos, but I just wanted to get them up and start them downloading, because there's, you know, just a few videos. And I'll tell you all the adventures of the weekend. So I'm just going to get these downloading. There's actually quite a few bytes of stuff to come down. Alright, so while that's doing that, work has gone pretty well in the last week. I am still getting that weird muscle activation, or I don't know, having a bit of a fit, but I'm coping, and you know, it is what it is. Apparently it's nothing to do with the nerve pains. That's all good for those who are aware of these things and are worried for me. It should be okay. It's not nerve, it's just muscular, and it's probably just because I'm unfit and very much not used to being back at the desk on the office setup and trying to make sure that I'm not twisting and all of that kind of thing, which is, you know, first time back and dual screens and all that kind of jazz. You're twisting, and I got a paper cut. No. Wasn't impressed. No. It was like my finger was sliced open, and it was like I didn't even feel that sucker. Yeah, it's a hazard working in an office. Yeah. It was. Yes, I should get paid danger money. Went into work this morning. It's a public holiday actually today, and I didn't put down for a public holiday because I have put down to be off work Thursday and Friday this week, because Sophie is turning 3, my little blonde bombshell, who is fast asleep, and I'll put a photo in of her because she's so freaking cute. Yeah, she's turning 3. No, we haven't organized a party or anything just yet. I don't think we are. I don't know what we're getting her for birthday either. He and I need to have a chat, because neither of us have any clue what we're doing. Yeah.
I'm out of beer.
Oh, no. Right. That's not really going to wash it for a 3-year-old.
No, you're probably right.
So yeah, we need to have a think about that. She got wooden blocks for Christmas, like a giant outdoor Jenga you know, the fakey majakey stuff. I can't even think of what the name was. I thought we were missing a block the other day because I stacked it up 4x4 and went, uh-oh, if this is 4x4, we're missing 3 blocks. I hate when we lose pieces to games. And then the kid is kind of going, no, it was stacked in the box like this. And I'm going, no, not possible. But between us, we worked out, and I got pictures of what it was, and it's 45. We've got all the blocks. It's like, oh, thank goodness. So
you're saying she was right?
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't right about how it was stacked in the box. She was saying that it was a particular way on the box, on the picture. And when I looked at the picture, it was like, yeah, that is not how she thinks it was.
Right.
So she wasn't right either, but we got there in the end, and it was a stupid way that they packed it in the box anyway. But it's fine. There's 45 blocks. The main thing is, and they've all been put away. They live in just a plastic bin, and the lid gets put on at night so that they don't get wet. But it is actually an outdoor set, so they live outside. And when the kid came back this week, there was a little bit of, I'll play with Sophie, I won't play with Sophie, and we were kind of letting her have her time on her own as well. So Sophie was getting a bit upset because, you know, the kid is her best friend, and everyone's her best friend at the moment. But the kid was her best friend, so she was getting all upset that she wasn't getting included in, you know, watching the phone or whatever the heck she was getting involved in. So yeah, I went out and I was sitting with her and playing with her and that kind of thing, and that's when I thought, uh-oh, missing pieces. But yeah, all turned out good. She had a play, and then the kid went and joined her, and it was all good there as well. So yeah, we're getting there. This weekend was different because it was father-in-law's birthday. So they live an hour's drive away from us in a small country town in a historic house called the town is called Bothwell, but they live in one of the old original stone houses. So we always kind of go up there, and this thing is like, it's a feature in itself. So all of the houses are. The mum-in-law's sister lived at one of the other historic homes, and they sold possibly 2 years ago now. These are incredible, you know, 8 foot, well, a meter deep walls and all this kind of ridiculous heavy build. They seem to live in the kitchen in this big house with the lounge furniture that was all period dated and not very comfortable looking at all. Very, very strange. They're now living closer to the city, and are much closer to facilities because I think she's potentially dealing with dementia. Yeah, so we don't get access to their house anymore, which is the other historic house. But some of the stonework, because I was noticing this on the flagging outside the house yesterday, the stonework has what's called bloodstone, and it's basically a sandstone with these red iron blobs through it. Only the local houses are supposed to be able to use this quarried stone. It's got to stay local. Some of the criteria for it so that it doesn't go far and wide. It's a bit like over in Ireland, over towards the Cliffs of Moher, Clare area, there's a slate called, I was going to say Cleckwed, but I think that's Welsh. I think it's Liscannor stone, but it basically looks like worm trails. You know when you go onto the beach and you see these worm trails on the sand? If you've ever been to a beach with sand. Anyway, these wormy trails are in the slate. It's really kind of close. And yeah, it's only in this particular area. But I think it's Liscannor. Rachel, help. Is it Liscannor? it's gorgeous. It's a black slate. It's beautiful. I actually had a piece in one of my homes as a hearth at the fireplace. I think that's what I had in the house. And I think my sister also had some as well. But it's gorgeous. You could ship this out, but yeah. Very individual to the region, which is kind of cool. Caught up with Cal this morning on her live. That was a lot of fun. I enabled Deborah, actually, unexpectedly, and Abra seemed to get away with not being enabled fully. I'm teasing. We got looking at cross-stitching places on Etsy, and then we found mermaids, and then we found dinosaurs, and then we found Grogu, and it was a lot of fun, actually. Look, even if people don't buy the stuff, sharing the links is a lot of fun. And there is a bit of teasing, and no, I don't expect you to buy if I throw a link in, but, you know, you're going to be guaranteed you're going to love the cute. You know, and they're so modern and different. Like, the Cross-Stitch Expo has been happening over in the States. Nashville Expo has been happening in the States this weekend, and I've been looking at the pre-orders through Misty, Mystic Fabrics group on Facebook, and there's an awful lot of samplers, and the samplers are all kind of old-fashioned. There is a really cute one of an 8-year-old's sampler that she did with the alphabet and numbers, and there's two that I might be confusing. One has a numbers table in it, like a 12 times table, so 12 12s in a square, and she said this is to prove that I learned, you know, at the age of 12 or something in school, and the year was 1826 or something crazy. I'm kind of thinking, and one of them it says I'm age 8, and the other one doesn't say how old the crafter, the stitcher, was. But they were both kind of a similar era, and I don't really go for the old-fashioned samplers, like the Quaker style kind of thing, often. But there have been a couple that I did like, but there were some patterns that went on to the expo that were like, oh no, gotta have that one. So I put some orders through with Misty and put an order through with my local needle shop, which I then was kicking myself because it turns out that Autumn Lane Stitchery are actually going to be releasing it themselves on Etsy, and it was like, oh dang it, because I actually don't use paper patterns quite so much. So yeah, I don't know. I might contact Aaron and Cassandra and say, look, I have a paper pattern, can I get a PDF? Because it is something that a lot of the designers will do. If you show proof of purchase, they will give you the digital version as kind of like a complimentary. And I know it's a somewhat cheeky ask, but I really, really like working with Pattern Keeper. I would much rather work with Pattern Keeper than a highlighter and a pen on paper, to be honest. And my progress will be much, much quicker too. So I might actually have this Best Friends. I think it's part of the Moo series of the expos. So there's a cow, and on top of the cow is a pig, and on top of the pig is a chicken, and on top of the chicken is a mouse. And it's very much in Aaron style, Autumn Lane Stitchery style, and it's colourful and bright, and it's all kinds of cool and cute. So yeah, of course I've got this gorgeousness. So yeah, you'll get to see that when it comes. I also got some, I think it's green. It's a green kind of swirly thing. And I thought I put down for another kind of sampler, but I can't find it on the site. So I'm just going to hope that Misty has recorded correctly. And I have searched and searched where I might have either said me please or the pattern name or something. And do you think I could find it on Facebook? Nope. So I normally take screenshots of any fabric that I buy so I know exactly what's coming. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway. So yeah, with the weekend shuffle, we didn't go for our walk on Saturday. What did we do? Did we do? Saturday was... Yeah, day of forgetfulness, absolutely. The vacuuming got done. I got some stitching done. I actually don't know what I did. I watched Mrs. Coffee. Oh, I played with Sophie outside, then I watched Mrs. Coffee. Maybe I just stitched the rest of the evening. I don't know. It was like a day at home. What do you do?
I my guts out all day.
What were you doing?
I made pizza.
You made pizza, yeah.
3D printing stuff. No, not till the end of the day. I was doing stuff all day, remember?
Yeah, I know you were. I cannot remember what I was doing 2 days ago. This is, yeah, go figure.
Sign of old age.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, I've always had that. It's like, what did I do today? Yeah, writing in my diary. You know, dear diary, no, nothing happened. Yeah, head like a sieve when it comes to that. I should check Google. Google normally tells me what I've done because it follows my location. I don't even think I went out and did any geocaching because Sunday, I know I had to plan the route. I know I planned the route. No, I actually planned the route on Sunday. Sunday morning because we were going to the in-laws for dinner. He was going to do a roast and so what we ended up doing, so Tasmania is the macaron. No, it's a bit small. Tasmania is this tin here. So we went up the middle and then in a bit and then down the lakes to where they kind of live. So we ended up, I planned to do, so we go up the middle and turn left and we went to the first stop, which was Poatina. Poatina is the hydro center.
Well,
one of them. Hydro is basically just water-powered electricity. Anyway, I selected 9 geocaches. So we get to Poatina, and this place is supposed to be called 5 Columns. Okay, and there's this sculpture thing in the middle of an intersection. What the hell this is doing there, I have no idea. Because seriously, this thing was made out of junk.
Well, probably wasn't originally.
It's like a built-up island. It's a built-up triangle, okay? So one section is like bluestone, which is, it's a blue hard rock. They actually use it for road surfaces and everything else. But it's a very, very hard material. So there's chunks of this, which is like the size of your fist kind of rocks. And then there are other bits that are some other rock. And then there's some other bits that's like reinforced concrete. And then there's some other bits that are wood that's been rounded on the ends for some reason. It was very haphazard and thrown together kind of thing. And there's bits of Rio in there and there's all sorts. And it just looks like somebody just got a demolished building and put it in.
Originally, before it got blown over.
Oh, no, that's not even talking about the center. Then the center is this round green sludge, like something out of a horror movie. You would literally expect something to come up out of the deep. Apparently bugs were falling on the water and it was like, that's it, you're dead. Hello, well, we're geocaching again. We are in the middle of Tasmania at a place called Poatina. And this is where the first geocache is. It's described as, my camera is being a twit. It's described as being at a place called 5 Columns, which is in there. Somebody has put change up on the road. There are some steps into a cesspool. I'm not quite sure what this is. But it's a bit green and gross, and they are the columns. which have
Well, maybe they were.
been destroyed. Ew, that's gross. We'll see if we can find the cache, and yes, let's just say that was a dud visit. This place is weird. It's like just full of rubbish. But try as I might, I could not find where the damn cache was, which is really disappointing when you have a do not find a DNF. So on to the next. I think we have 9 potentially on the way to the in-laws, but the view is really nice, and we're going to go up to the dam soon. Like the kid was saying, it died, it landed, and it's died.
Like it struggled probably 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it was just like this
less than 5 seconds.
green yellow algae. It was just vile, and it was in the center of this pond.
It looked so toxic.
Oh, it was disgusting looking. And coming up out of the water were these concrete.
Not the sort of thing you would ever expect to see in
No,
Tasmania.
no, let alone it.
Which is one of the cleanest places on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, it was gross. Anyway, and coming out of this water were these 5 concrete triangles, and what should have been coming out of those disgusting concrete triangles were these reasonably pretty glass bricks that were supposed to also be in this triangle column. Well, no! Somebody had gone into the toxic water and knocked over all the pretty columns off the top. So there was bits of glass all over the place, like glass brick. It was odd. It wasn't quite glass. It was more like plastic brick or something.
The casing guy had put in a note saying that he'd talked to the locals and it hadn't survived a windstorm at one stage. It wasn't a vandalism event.
Oh, you reckon it was just blown over because it was so badly built out of junk. Anyway, we couldn't find the geocache at this, and we were looking for probably a good half hour. I'm bumbling around. I'm on ground zero. It's supposed to be a small container under rocks. The whole damn thing is rocks, go figure. Couldn't find it. Anyway, we bailed on that one, got down to the next one, and that was, I think, called the Mexican. I've got videos right the way along, so I pretty much record each of these caches. And I think it was called just past the Mexican, and so we're looking out for this Mexican statue that the locals have coined this phrase, and we see this blue and white t-shirt. He said it was colourfully dressed. It's not as colourful as maybe it was originally, but it looked like a blue and white t-shirt.
Might be
Okay, maybe the ass hanging out. Right, so we zoom past, but we kind of get this look. So it's basically a pillar of something with some dude's t-shirt on it. And Marcus thought it had the dude's trousers dropped, so he was looking like he was taking a pee against the side of the road. And he had a flat rock kind of thing, and then there was another flat rock and something else, or maybe it was made into a hat or something, but it, looked kind of like a sombrero. So it was the Mexican. And then a kilometre further down the road was where we found our first cache. So this one is called Just Past the Mexican, and it's a little turnaround kind of spot. It's actually over in that general kind of rocky outcrop area. There's some photos that I took of the canister because it's huge. For the middle of nowhere, it's really cool having large caches. So for kids, this is great for the swaps and all that kind of thing. But look what I found here. There's skippy bones. So there's bits of vertebrae and legs and jaw. There, that's kind of cool. All kinds of spiky plants around. So we'll lead on to the next. And this one was said to be large, and you'll see the photo of this mother of all mayonnaise jars, I think. It's a huge, must be a 10-litre jar. I don't know what the hell. It could have even been, the steroid kind of protein shake that the dudes all have. It was a big
I could believe
5 maybe 7 litre container. And it was down in a crack of the rock, and it was painted with camouflage paint, so it was kind of like dark green and scratched and gnarly, and inside it were a whole load of kid swaps. We didn't bring anything to swap, but there were a whole load of kid swaps. Sophie wanted to keep the Ferraris, which was a real pain because Marcus actually has a Ferrari. He's had it since he was a kid. He's got a Ferrari. Yeah, and he's very fond of his Ferrari. And nobody played with this Ferrari until Sophie came along, really, because he wouldn't let them play with it. But because it's his. Yes. Well, she lost the Ferrari. Turns out it was in the back of the car for a while. But anyway, so she's got this Ferrari that's probably about 9 inches long. And no, you've got to put the Ferrari back, and the Superman's got to go back as well. So somebody has left, multiple toy cars for the kids to swap, but we had nothing to swap. Otherwise, yeah, we might have inherited another Ferrari. Oh dear, but that was fun because we followed the hint, and I found it. The kid was up on top of this rock that the clues just said under the flat, and we fished it out, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. You never know what you're going to get at any of these cache sites. So found it. It was all good, and right outside my door, as Marcus had parked, were probably a kangaroo. It may not have. It had chewy teeth. No, chewy teeth. It had bitey teeth at the sides. So I don't know what this animal was, but they were white bones everywhere. And I took a clip of showing you the vertebrae, and I left it all behind. Not going to go carting. I mean, they were nice clean bones, to be honest. You could have taken them, but I just showed them on film. So yeah, not quite sure what the animal was. Don't know if skibbies actually have these kind of bitey teeth, because some people like collecting bones. Yeah, no.
Okay. Right.
We've got one outside the front door. I don't know why it's there. Don't know where it came from. Yeah.
What?
A leg bone.
Have we?
Yes. There's a petrified white leg bone outside the front door.
Right.
So,
Our front door.
that door. That one, not next to Maka. Yeah, it's not his.
No.
It's not a cow. It's not anything he would have eaten. Anyway, so yeah, that was the first one. So having a find, and a quick find, is it's such a boost to the confidence. There is nothing worse than going cache hunting and not being able to find the geocache. It really, really just gets your spirits down, and it's almost like gambling. You just want to get a win. I think I've gone out once and couldn't find 2, and was really getting down in the dumps. And it was almost like you just have to go and get a find, just to feel like you're not completely stupid and blind. And these are not, I'm not talking about puzzle caches, which are, you've got to solve the mystery to actually find whether you're in the right place or anything. I'm talking about cannot find a container hidden in the ground. Kind of. Yeah. It's so demoralizing. And then, other ones, you walk up to a tree and you go, there it is. And you're still 10 paces away, which is really, kind of cool too. So anyway, we went and we did the next cache, which was like spitting distance down the road. At the next one, and this is, well, I'm not actually sure what the name of the lake is, possibly Great Lake. And you've got electricity pylons coming down into it, and all the way up the top, there's somebody gone out in a fishing boat, and this is just a little camping ground that's nearby. They've got fencing off the electricity pylons if you wanted to camp below the pylons, and well, the cache is somewhere near here, so I'm going to see what we can do to locate it. There are bucket loads of butterflies, and some of them are tiny. There's some cabbage whites, there's some brownie kind of ones as well. Red Admirals maybe, I don't know what the Australian ones are called, but I'll see if I can show you some more shortly. The rock or the cache was somewhere up there. This is just a crazy kind of place. It's dry, bone dry. It's just got dry moss everywhere, granite by the look of it, possibly. Everything is just dry. Even the boggy bits down at the waterfront are dry, but all this dead wood as well. Sophie is clambering on the rocks like a trooper. Marcus is back at the car. The sign actually said 4-wheel drive only. We actually have got a 4-wheel drive, sort of. It's a town car, but it's 4-wheel drive capable. I think, well, he's got something, he's got his head under the bonnet, which, or hood for Americans. Could be checking the oil or could be checking the water. I did say, because he's been using the water most of the way along to keep the windscreen clear because of flies, and I have said it'd be interesting to see if we run out, and he was going, oh no, it's a big tank, but we can always fill up at his parents if we run short. So yeah, this is the undergrowth. There are dead trees on the roadside covered in lichen. Like, this is supposed to be wet. You've got marsh grass just here, but it's bone dry. You can hear everything kind of crunchy. Wallaby scat. I think I saw wombat scat as well. I thought I saw square poo. That's wombat. There's crickets there. That's not square. There's lots of little crickets. So there's a cricket here. Little cricket. No, that's wombat poo. Yeah. Alright, on to the next. You remember how I said we were in a town car, but we had 4-wheel drive capability? Jeez, we're in Australia too. There's a billion flies. Well, we've just driven quite gingerly up there. Down here, if it actually focuses, there was a big hole in the track. So now he's continuing to go up to better track. Yeah, he's a little bit nervous. We have scratched the car on the shrubbery. Some of it's got teeth. So yeah, he's telling me now that I've got to polish it. Oh, the flies are horrible. It's like being over in WA. See? And I need to pee. And it's going to be a while before we get to the in-laws. So yeah, so this is what he's driving on. He's doing pretty well, but it is just a city town car. But we're near the track, and then we'll be able to speed up a bit and get out of here. And he'll breathe a relief. Okay, talk soon. And we eventually, I think I'd marked 9. Because Google has a limit to how many points of a destination it can have in directions, I had to delete one, so we went tearing past where I knew there was one, but because we were following the GPS on the car, we didn't stop. And Marcus was getting sore at this stage anyway, so it was just like, I'll just leave it, it's fine. Another example of a cache. This is an Eclipse tin, and this is the paper log. The log is actually full, and I've got company. So I'm going to very quickly pop that back where it came from. This is the stop, and go back to the car. And I think there's actually another cache very close by to do with this pipe. So I will try and record whenever I figure that one out as well. Something towing a boat. Talk to you soon. I wasn't going to send him back up the road, even if it was only, you know, a couple of 100 meters, but so we missed one, you know, because I was talking about it in the car, and then we just kept going because it wasn't marked on the map. Anyway, but we went to one that was down by an electricity link, so there's all these wires going down to the lake. Found this, you know, like, it was off the beaten track. They actually sent you through scrub. It was dry as anything, but through scrub up to the top of a pile of like a rock mound, which was quite a bit of fun scrambling up it with the kids. Like, the kid is 11 and she's, you know, all over rock climbing and clambering and all that kind of thing. It's all kind of new for Sophie. So Sophie got a little bit freaked out because some of the moss and soil was loose and she wasn't able to get a grip on that, but the rock was really grippy because it was so dry. So trying to teach her to step on the rock and not on the soil, and, you know, just, you know, use her hands when she's climbing up and all of that kind of thing. So she did all of that. She was awesome. Went back to the car, and that's where we had our four-wheel driving adventure, where Marcus actually wondered if he was going to be able to get us out because the road got reasonably bumpy. And he's put me on cleaning duty, which will probably happen tomorrow after work. And yeah, so the bushes are crowding in, and of course the car can't get skinnier, so it's getting scratched and the dust is getting scraped, and we're crying. The undercarriage is getting swept by some bushes and it sounded terrible. And then
I didn't hit any rocks though, did I?
No, you didn't hit any rocks. There was a bit of the path where the left-hand side actually dipped into a ditch. Like, you could not have driven over this properly without having one of the high everything cranked up kind of thing. But Marcus was able to go to the right and get around that and then I got out of the car and videoed him going up over the road and just kind of showed you what we had just come through, because, you know, he said, you got to record this. This is what we're driving through. And he's doing all this basically in a four-wheel drive town car. And the car was awesome. It was in four-wheel drive mode, and it was, you know, other than the scrapes of the branches, it was brilliant. But yeah, I think it certainly tested Marcus's nerves doing this. And
the fun part was passing the Pajero up the hill.
Yeah, the fun part, we overtook a Pajero that was struggling to get up a hill, and the Pajero is...
No, not struggling, he was flat out.
Well, he was flat out. A Pajero is a four-wheel drive,
V6.
it's a V6 3.5 litre. I used to own one, and they are rough as guts, and, you know, our car just tore past it at a rate of knots, making it look effortless. And Marcus is cackling away as a result.
In a four-cylinder.
Yeah, in a four-cylinder electric car. It's not always electric, it's petrol electric. But anyway, it was fun. There was another couple of geocaches where I've got an awesome video, I hope, of the sculpture park at Steps. Basically, we got there to an empty car park. It was just a little kind of turnaround loop. And as soon as we get there, wouldn't you know it, we hadn't found the geocache yet, but there were a couple who walked in, and it's like, oh God. This is the Steps sculpture path. So, in part of my navigation, I had put a whole load of waypoints into Google. Ran out of waypoints. Holy cow, it's a flippin' stone circle. It's like magic can happen here. Anyway, we missed one of the stops. That is a huge tree. It's a fat tree. Step sculptures. Okay, so we've got monuments dedicated to those who share the love and care of Central Highlands of Tasmania. So we've got sculptures on each of these rocks. We've got thylacines, which are Tassie tigers. We've got butterflies, Punara browns, a rare butterfly that requires the poa grass landscape of the Central Highlands to exist. That might be what I'm seeing. Echidna and snake, both locals of the area. Platypus and dragons. Sorry, platypus and dragons. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Platypus and dragonflies live at nearby lagoon of islands. Yellow wattlebirds on Banksia, to be sure to visit the Banksia Grove. Honey eaters are birds on Hakea, common throughout the Highlands. Black swans. The hand of Madge Wilson feeding some of the tamed Currawong pets. They're birds. Aboriginal families lived and travelled in this very landscape. Constable Wilson noted their campfires. I'm just trying to see where Constable Wilson. Madge Wilson, Constable Wilson. Wedge-tailed eagles seen floating on the wind currents. Green rosellas as their parrots. Droving cattle, ringtail possum, and wombat. Okay, and in here, so here is a thylacine, Tassie tiger. They actually think that they found evidence of a Tassie tiger. There's the echidna and snake, and we've got some visitors. Platypus. They would be the wattlebirds on the Banksia. No, or honey eaters. Were they honey eaters? Honey eaters, I think. There's some other birds. Black swans. There's a wombat in the middle. That looks like the Currawong with Mrs. Wilson's hand. Aborigines in the area. They're the eagles. Big shiny beak on that one. Somebody probably rubbing. These are quite cool. Rosellas, the parrots. That's the drover. And that is a ringtail possum. Rightio, now to find the cache. Bye! And it's funny because when I start recording, I'm showing you guys the sculptures. And I kind of go, and look, there's a great big tree there. This tree was huge. It was wide at the bottom and gnarly and twisty and looked incredible. Well, it turned out the cache was actually in the base of the tree. And when I walked over to it and you could see the opening, you could actually see the bits of bark that were laying over it. You know, stands out like dog balls if you know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, you wouldn't see it, kind of thing. But they also mark the boxes saying, this is a geocache, please don't remove, kind of thing. Because people do trip over them sometimes too, especially if you've got kids. So this couple is there. I don't know if they're there for the sculptures or if they're there for the geocache. So I'm trying to look a bit inconspicuous. Okay, I can't as an adult go diving into the tree. So I've filmed this video showing all of these bronze sculptures around the clearing. And they're gorgeous. They're all on standing stones. So first feeling I get when I walk into this place is Outlander. Is, you know, you've got standing stones and there's one in the center and it's just, what the heck? It's just a sculpture park. There's nothing freaky, but it's seriously, it did look like you could have your witch ceremonies at this thing. It was just like, very, very weird feeling. And then some other older guy comes in, you know, very awkward, deep Aussie voice, says hello, and his wife wanders in afterwards and she says hello to the kids, and Sophie gets all coy and shy. You know, they were lovely. And off to one of the kind of corners that we went to was this hemisphere of smaller boulders, not huge, like just rough rocks, but in them there's a couple of holes like you'd put a staff in it. It was really, really weird. And again, like they would hold staffs in at an angle, so if you were to put them together it would kind of make like a teepee. Is it a teepee? Yes, I think it's a teepee. The wigwam is the round, is that right? The teepees are the pointed, you know, pyramid triangle tents, and the wigwams are the rounds. I used to have a teepee, but it looked like it would hold that kind of thing, and then you drape cloth over it to be sheltered. I don't know if that's what it was, but that's where my imagination kind of took me. And then you could have walked 900 meters down the track to the Steps homestead, whatever the heck that is. But I didn't, because Marcus stayed in the car again. He was getting a bit fried at that stage. I didn't really want to be walking a kilometer away without consulting him and just, you know, leaving him. I don't know if he would have minded or not, but anyway. So we didn't go down to the homestead. And the kid ducks under the tree, grabs the cache, hands it to me. So we go fill in the details of the log, sign it, and then move off to the next one. And this next one is actually, now there's rules with geocaching that you can't put caches on private land without permission and all that kind of thing. So anyway, this cache owner has actually put this on his bush block, and he's given permission for geocachers to enter his land and find the geocache, and, you know, the directions are all there and all that kind of thing. So that was, you know, cool and rough as guts. And Marcus is kind of going, you know, watch out for snakes, watch out for jackjumper ants, the big inch-long ants that
No, they're not inch-long.
bite. The jackjumpers are smaller, but they're more vicious.
They're like a grey, very dark grey with orange feelers.
Okay.
And they jump.
Yes. Anyway. Alright, hey, we're at another one. I'm just going to walk out and try not to kill myself. It's quite rough. This is actually on private property, and the host of this geocache has actually said, you know, cachers are welcome to come onto his property to do this. So this is someone's bush block. Don't know what he does on it. There are a couple of very, very rough trails that a four-wheel drive has come into. So yeah, this I don't know this cacher. I don't think I've met them. They may be from this neck of the woods, or it may just be that they've got a shack. They like shooting and fishing, and that's why they come up here to, I think they call them a humpy, kind of like a shed in the middle of nothing. So yeah, it's rough as guts. This is not, well, yeah, I suppose it's tinned a bit. But yeah, it's a pretty rough trail. Rough rock. It's, you know, it's as dry as it was in any other spot. There's no well, there are flies, big flies, I can hear them, but not those little ones that were back at the last bit where we were four-wheel driving out. But this gives you an example, some of the dead trees, and this kind of stuff is dry as, would burn in like 2 seconds. Ow, I had something prickly stab me. Ooh, look, hazard of caching. So yeah, it's this rough trail, and you should see his gate. His gate is like the mother of all gates. It's like truck proof. It's huge. So if I keep the camera on until I get there, I'm very sorry about the wobble. I don't have the gimbal on because, well, the gimbal is actually a bit of a pain in the ass from a program point of view, because it records onto a heavy data kind of resource with the program it uses, which is a little bit unfortunate. Yes, it'd be nice to use my camera app with the gimbal, but they don't talk to each other that way. Anywho, If I knew it was going to be this rough, I probably would have put it on, to be honest. But there you go. Cars going up and down the road because it's that's the only road on this side of the lake. So it's busy. Usually 4-wheel drives at a rate of knots. And look, see this lichen trees? Oh, go to the knees. So the next cache is down around the bottom of the lake, and I think there may be 1 or 2 more after that on the list that I made up. And all of these caches have been easy finds. It was just that first one that was a pain in the butt. Could not find it. It was standing at ground zero, as they call it, doing the bee dance, as they also call busking around ground zero, looking like an idiot. Could not find it. It was under a rock, and seriously, there was probably 2 million rocks. Yeah, could not, for the life of me, figure it out. I mean, I was moving rocks. We were all moving rocks in the right area, but did not find it. And because it's not necessarily somewhere I would go to very often, I don't know if I'll put a didn't find. I could do, because it actually didn't look like it was in very good condition. Like the columns had been destroyed, other things had been pulled apart. It actually looked like a big rubbish heap, to be honest, that somebody's just kind of gone, oh, let's make something here. But the fact that they've destroyed the ice block columns, which is glass, was a little disappointing. So yeah, that wasn't so nice. I think they're crickets that are singing. And all the crickets I've seen here are little ones. They're different from the, I don't know, grass crickets that I've seen elsewhere. Alright, so this is a bit more track formed. There's the mother of all gates. And then he's got this rough track that goes up yonder. And that's clearly the track to wherever he's going. So, not going to invade if he is here. I don't know. And this could be hectares, and hectares huge. But look, that's the gate. It's crazy. Alright, talk to you soon. So keeping an eye out for any wildlife. We saw nothing. I think I saw a dead wombat and we saw dead skippies.
Venom in the insect world.
Yes, jack jumpers, yeah, they're nasty. There's actually, I was in the coffee shop today and saw Catalyst are doing a program on Australia TV, possibly Channel 9, I don't know, wherever Catalyst do their programs. They're doing it on venom. What was it? Kill or Cure, I think, is the tagline. And it showed somebody writhing in pain, and whether that was from the venom or the antivenin or the actual bite, I'm not quite sure, but he was tightening up and clenching his legs and arms, and it looked horrible. But I have to say, if you get bitten by something that is venomous, the antivenin can actually be just as horrible as the venom. Just so you don't take it lightly. They wait until you're symptomatic and then they give it to you. They don't just give it to you because you may have been bitten by such and such. They will actually test it because it's nasty, nasty stuff, because it's made from the actual venom. There are actually spider milking places, and I think we've got spider milking places in the States as well for the tarantulas. But there's spider milking farms in Australia as well. And they've got snake milking as well here, because our 3 snakes in Tasmania are all venomous and they will kill. The whip snakes are small, they don't necessarily kill humans, but they're certainly not going to be nice. So yeah, there's very much a big push on, if you've been bitten by a snake, you know, and pets, if they get bitten by snakes, cost a fortune to get the antivenin, and the survival chances are very, very slim. So yes, all kinds of nasty if your pets go down with snake bite. Cats in particular get bitten by snakes because, you know, they're prey and they're not always quick enough to avoid the bite. And my dog got bitten by a snake, so yes. They're very, very pretty snakes, but they can piss off elsewhere. Yeah. So we went from the private land, and then we missed the haul, and then the last one was Tassie tigers, so thylacine. And seriously, without knowing that there was a cache here, why the hell would you stop? There was a lay-by on the left side of the road on a sweeping bend that you wouldn't stop at. There's nothing there. But for some reason, somebody has painted an adult and a baby thylacine on the wall. In the middle of the country, the middle of the island, right? And it's worth noting, the step sculpture actually spoke about thylacines being in the area. Well, just recently there's been a video that some guy has said, we have found the thylacine. It's up in the northeast, of Tasmania. I swear it's a thylacine, Joey. Experts say it was over Scottsdale or something area. I say it's this, the experts say it's this, and then some other expert came on and said, nah, it's a Patamelon Joey. Anyway, this guy's adamant it was a thylacine Joey because it's got a stiff tail, it hasn't got cat-like ears, blah, blah, blah. It's not a cat, it's not a dog, you know, therefore it's a thylacine. I don't know. There are other thylacine hunters, Tassie tiger hunters out there as well, to no avail. Anyway, the thylacines were fairly common in this region, which is like sweeping grasslands, to be honest. It's plateaus and everything. Yeah, because they killed the last one in the zoo. Well, it died in the zoo. A male thylacine died in the zoo in Tasmania, beginning of the 1900s. But
the zoo hasn't existed for
yeah, the zoo's been closed. The zoo is still there. Like, the site is still there. The gate is still there. Oh, I don't know when it closed.
I saw a camel when I was a kid.
Marcus saw a camel when he was a kid. Okay. Oh.
So there.
Let me tell you about a video I saw.
Probably was about 4 or 5.
Okay. So yeah, there was thylacines in the centre. So now I can say I've seen a thylacine in Tasmania. Yeah, it's a picture on the wall. There was actually a video floating around. Maybe Lynn sent it to me. I get the most awesome videos she sends me on Instagram. And it was a baby camel who had been rescued that they called Camelot. I think it was Camelot. And they were looking for a buddy for him. But because this baby camel was so weird, all the rest of the animals were going, what the hell are you? And wouldn't go near him, so he was all kinds of lonely. Well, they ended up getting a young calf that I think was 2 days old. Mother died or something. Benjamin Button, I think they called him. And Ben and Cam, I think, ended up becoming best of buddies. And you're watching the footage of this baby camel racing around, playing tag with the cow. It was absolutely hilarious. And the cow and camel have now grown up. And they still are best buddies and play chasings together. It was so cute. It was really, really funny. Because you're watching this ungainly camel with the feet going flying everywhere. It was just crazy. So yeah, then we called down to the in-laws. And because the GPS, I don't know what it was trying to do, but it was trying to send us back to one of the points on the thing. So we were, you know, it was kind of saying, oh, we're 30 minutes away from our destination. Get rid of this stupid waypoint that was confusing it. And we're kind of going, and Marcus is kind of going, oh no, the bottle's just there. And I can see it. And so we put it up on the map, and like we're 2 minutes from destination kind of thing, which was like, yay. Because he was tired and he was wanting a beer and all of that kind of thing. We get there, and staring at the sunroom, for want of a better name, sunroom window, is this whopping great sulphur-crested cockatoo. Now, a sulphur-crested cockatoo is a fucking big parrot. This thing is the size of my forearm, with a beak that's, you know...
And now you know why I call them pterodactyls.
Yeah, they sound like pterodactyls. Rah, rah, rah.
Not that we know what pterodactyls sound like,
no,
but yeah, okay.
No. Anyway, so he's sitting there, and he starts flirting like mad with me. These little beady, shiny black eyes on his gorgeous white body, and I'm looking at him like he's sitting... He's actually Marcus' sister's parrot, but the parents-in-law have looked after him for 10 years. They got dumped with him 1 year, and he stayed there for like 10 years, and then she took him back, and anyway, she was away for the weekend.
I think he'll be about 30 years old.
We think he's 30. He can say hello. He can say Bosker.
And Boogie Bosker.
Marcus says he can say Boogie Bosker, but at one stage he was going like this, which is what parrots do. And then Marcus goes and says, oh, wait for it, he rings the telephone. If he's left alone, he wants your attention. Well, of course, we were all in the same room as him, so he wasn't saying anything. Yeah. No. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and there's this whopping great cage, and God bless her, mum-in-law is fussing like I don't know what. She's all out of sorts, and, you know, stroke brain and all that kind of thing. And she's flapping around, tidying things, giving out to the bird, telling him to get back on the cage, and then she locks him into the cage. But in the meantime, so I'm going like this, you know, with the beak. And he, you know, he's getting all kind of chummy and flirty and, you know, wanting to lean in. He leans into my foot at one stage when he's down on the ground. It was hilarious. And I'm watching him then as he's sitting on top of the cage. Now, it's a big, meaty looking square cage. And I can see this gorgeous yellow blush under the back of his tail, and there's a yellow blush around his cheek, and he's got this great big yellow crest that when he gets a bit pissed off, he'll cock it up. You know, but he was reasonably quiet until we all went in to get dinner, and then he starts ringing the phone because we've all left him. It's hilarious. It was like, rat. It was like, oh my God.
The logic being?
That people would go running for the phone, so he tried to imitate it. It was awesome. It was so, so cool. Whether or not I could actually have this bird.
A phone also always gets attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try something.
Yeah. But Marcus is going, no, he's a really, like, you know, they're a smart bird, and he's had words with this bird. Let's just say they've come to an agreement, and apparently he also had words with the previous cat, because she was a bit of a article as well. Yeah, but Bosker flies. He's not ringed or anything, and
Not ringed or clipped.
He's not ringed. He's not clipped. If he got out, he would look to all intents and purposes like a wild cocky. And he keeps coming back. So he's basically a flying cat. So they let him out. Dad has said he's seen him, you know, fly out from the sister's house and gone off bush, you know, for a couple of hours or whatever, and he comes back, you know. They're all reasonably stern with this poor bird. And give him a hard time and tell him what for and call him in, and, you know, and he just does it. It's incredible. But he was watching everything. Sophie was intrigued by him.
When he gets let outside at Rock Cottage.
Yeah.
He'll sit somewhere like in one of the trees next to the front gate and say hello to the people walking past. Before they've realised there's anything there.
Right.
He'll go, hello. So these tourists looking around all the nice little houses
Get greeted by this bird.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah. And then, like, Ron will be saying, like, Bosco's up in the tree and it's kind of time to come in now. And Bosco will be going, nah, not coming in. And Ron will be like, get here now! It's like, you just don't mess with them. Well, he tried challenging Sophie. Yeah, it worked for a little bit, and then Sophie goes, nah, don't like celery, and spat it back out again. And he goes, yeah, good girl, thinking that he had convinced her to eat it.
He was being a bit smug there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. So Sophie put him back in his place. That was hilarious. Yeah, we're in trouble.
81 versus 2.
Yeah. 83 versus 2.
83?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he said he was 83.
No, he didn't.
He did.
No. Born 1940.
Okay.
He
Anyway.
didn't say 83.
Okay. Yeah, he's feeling his age. Mum-in-law is disappearing into the wind. She's so skinny. And yeah, just having her... She was probably... In reality, she was probably unsettled because she had the cats there and the bird, and this wasn't her normal routine. So she was fussing over them and that kind of thing. And maybe that's what had her out of sorts. I don't know. And is that all it's going to take to have somebody who's had a stroke out of sorts? Quite possibly. You know, you kind of think, well, you know, it's just an animal. Why would it confuse somebody? But it only takes a little change, and you know, the routine is just different. So anyway, she's they're babysitting the bird and the cats were old tabby cats. Ron was saying that they were imported from South Africa, where Marcus's sister lived for a while, and she paid for them to be quarantined for 6 months, which is not a small feat by any means. I've had pets just shipped, and because we were shipping them from Tasmania, which is rabies free, we didn't have to kennel them. But when we were going back, I think we ended up kenneling them on the mainland, because I then had 6 weeks. The shipping container got stuck in port somewhere and didn't get moved, which was pissing us off no end. And it wasn't getting to where we needed to go. We had 6 weeks in Ireland, Europe or something at the same time to allow it to move. So yeah, all that 6 weeks were wasted. I think we ended up, and when I say that it was the previous we've borrowed furniture or something, or made do without furniture in the house that we were renting from friends at the time. So yeah, it was interesting, and then our furniture arrived. Yeah, because I think there was a strike or something, and they were only sending limited freight through the port or something ridiculous, as happens way too frequently with stevedores. So yeah. Anyway, we got our container eventually, and that was... Well, we still did a couple of moves after that. But anyway, yeah. That was that adventure. But I think the pets at that time did get kennelled going back from WA. They had to have heartworm injections in WA because it was heartworm over there. So that was the only difference really. But they had rabies, so they had to have, I think it might have been 3 months quarantine. Yeah, so it's not cheap quarantining a pet and flying them. And I don't, you know, the pets flew unaccompanied as well, so I think it might be cheaper to fly accompanied pets now. They do things a little bit differently.
I have a suspicion that your international listeners won't be quite familiar with the extent of the Australian, let alone the Tasmanian quarantine.
Yeah, well, Tasmania being the island that it is, we don't have fruit fly. I don't know if you have fruit fly in the States, but there's fruit fly on the mainland, and it's a biosecurity hazard. So even things like when I got my Sophie and Toffee box, and it had plant material in it, seeds are not allowed in. I've actually had a birthday card given to me from my sister in Ireland, and the embedded in the paper were seeds. Well, biosecurity seized it 15 years ago or whatever it was, seized it and fumigated the thing and then gave it to me, or offered it to me, or irradiated it. Anyway, they killed the seeds. But I don't know how this stuff got through biosecurity for the Sophie and Toffee box, and I was quite surprised. And so was Fee over in WA.
Sure. So, for example, the Chinese are sending seeds all throughout the United States.
Yes, you remember the seeds that went through the States?
That would be happening here.
No, it wouldn't get through biosecurity. Biosecurity were able to catch a lot of that kind of thing. They're just on it. They've got dogs that actually sniff vegetable matter, as well as the machinery that scans it, and biosecurity. That's why stuff gets stuck in customs here. It's the biosecurity issue in customs. So they'll look at the drills and they'll kind of think, is there seeds in here? Because it's all the same kind of size.
You can't even put an apple in your pocket on the plane.
No, you can't have an apple on the plane and get off the plane with the apple. You have to bin it at the airport. You can eat it, but yeah. I have actually brought fruit through inadvertently, but normally it's binned at the airport. They're all over it, and they've got the dog at security who, well, they've either got a drug dog or they've got a fruit dog, fruit, vegetable, whatever. It depends what they're actually targeting, but yeah, and the dogs can't be used for drugs. They're used for the fruit or something.
And you wonder how we've kept COVID out.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of good living on the island. So, yeah. So yeah, we did the caching, and then it was work today with a quiet day. Oh,
as I was saying yesterday, don't think of the island as some sort of little deserted island with sort of
500,000 people on it
each way. It's actually pretty big.
Yeah, it is pretty big. We were driving yesterday through this grassland, and there's this whopping great mountain range on our left, and there's another one to kind of our forward right, and it's big, and we get to cover so much ground in a car, but it's actually a large expanse of property that you're traveling across. And that's just like a tiny bit of Tasmania.
And as much as you can get from one corner to another in a single day, you wouldn't be able to go there for a day trip.
No, you couldn't get there and back. I think even in the olden days, I drove to the west coast of Tassie to Strawn, and we stayed overnight in a motel over there. Like, you couldn't have... Well, you could, but you'd be exhausted. And the person who actually bought Norbert, she actually did the drive. No, I actually told her to stay overnight. No, she got a hotel. She didn't drive back that day either. Just to be safe. Because the wildlife on the road as well is just not worth hitting. So, yeah. All kinds of crazy.
Yeah, the wallabies aren't good.
No, the wallabies aren't good for the cars.
The last second they'll jump the wrong way.
Yeah, you think that it's out of the way, or it's just sitting there, and as soon as you get past it, bang.
Something that bounces rather than runs. Yeah, it's very confusing to watch.
Yes. It's funny because, I mean, we see them all the time just across the road, which is, you know, they're funny as all hell. When they're going slowly, they'll put the front feet down and bring the back legs in, and, you know, front feet, back legs, kind of bunny hop.
Unfold themselves.
Yeah, bunny hop. They're kind of like coil up and then they uncoil. Well, when they hop, front legs are up. They're up on their back legs. Spring, spring, spring. You know, as you'd see kids playing. And they bomb when they hop. And they can turn on a dime because they're only hopping on, you know, 2 small feet pads. Well, okay, it's a long foot pad. But then they've got the tail that can steer them like a rudder. Like it's halfway out the back. You know, and they can twist and, you know, they don't just twist sideways. They can actually swerve like on an angle. They're like on gyroscopes. They're slightly wacky.
Direction extremely quickly.
Yeah. Like, even if you were to go to a wildlife park, you're actually not going to see any running around because any kangaroos I ever saw in a wildlife park, they're lying down having a Sunday picnic kind of, you know, I'm just going to lie here and chew the grass kind of crap. They're... And what?
And fart on the missus.
Oh, yeah. They just lie there, and you can go up and you can pet them. So you don't see them jumping around. You don't know what they're actually capable of. But they're, you know, it's like watching Tigger in a cartoon.
They
You know, and
jump
he's...
over a car if they were smart enough.
Well,
But invariably,
yeah.
no.
I don't think they're that big to be able to jump over that.
I reckon they jump over a car. Yeah.
They normally jump into the car.
Yes.
Like smack into the
'cause they're
side
not
of it.
smart enough.
Yeah.
They're not very
Yeah, they could clear. They do actually clear high fences. So do the deer. Yes. Anyway, so I've got all these clips to have scattered throughout the video. So you're actually going to get a fairly decent video because some of the clips I think are like 15 minutes long because, you know, I'm chattering away to you or whatever, or showing you what it's like walking out from where the caches are. Vaguely showing you the area, not showing you the actual log or whatever it might be. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing the clips and coming along geocaching, and I really would hope that you would give it a go. You can do it for free. All you need is a smartphone, iPhone, Android, doesn't matter. You can actually do it with an old style GPS, and if you're really wanting to go old school, you could do it with paper. It's much more fun doing it with GPS because it just makes sure that you're actually at the right place, especially for some of the trickier ones. There's a current challenge going out at the moment called Wonders of the World. This all came about because the Mars rover actually has, oh god, so the Mars rover, which is the piece of metal buggy that they sent up to Mars recently, has landed, and at the front where it has a calibration thing, there is a code number or something that you're supposed to take a note of. Now, once the picture has been taken of this actual area, it's going to get beamed back to Earth, and you can log it then as found. I found this picture, and it's got, you know, the number on it. Give me my points. So I started off with that, and then went, oh yeah, I'll go and get a geocache, and it goes, you've got a Wonder of the World, and I kind of went, what the hell is that? So now I've got all 7. I actually stopped off on my way into work today to get the 7th Wonder of the World. And even though I was at the sites and got the 7 Wonders of the World, and there were other wonders as well, so there's the modern world, the historical world, and there's something else, I don't know, natural world or something. I haven't got any of those wonders, so I'm not quite sure how if I can go back to those and get them again, or once you mark that one off your list, it's gone and you don't get access to that wonder again at that particular cache. So I've got to figure that one out. But now I'm on to the next set of Wonders of the World. Yeah. So did one on the way into work, and then went and did one after work that was just down on a laneway near where I work. And I thought, yeah, I'll go and get that because it was going to give me whatever it was. Well, it turns out I've got to go check my membership because it was a premium only membership, but it hasn't populated to the phone that I'm a premium member, even though it says I'm a premium member. It's all kinds of confusing. So I think it might just be waiting for the payment to be processed and authorized. But having premium membership means that you've got all access. You can do harder caches than level 2, because there's difficulties of 2 to 5, or sorry, 0 to 5 difficulty. And the more difficult, obviously, they keep the less serious geocachers away from, because it's really hard to find a 5. It might look like a fire hydrant. It'll be so well disguised that puts the difficulty up. So they keep people who are, you know, wanting to enjoy it free from having to battle those difficult ones. So yeah, it just makes it a bit easier. But when you have free membership, you're limited to how many you can actually search and all that kind of thing. Whereas when you've got premium, you can, you know, create lists. You can create offline lists and all that kind of thing. So I've kind of got some access, but not full access, and it's all a little bit confusing while it beds itself in. So after this, I'm actually going to do some frequently asked questions and see why it's not coming up. Because on the internet, it tells me it's there and I'm a premium, but on my phone it's saying, no, you're not. It says, it says I am, but it says I'm not. So it's like, oh, right, a little bit weird. And I've just found some more 9s. So we'll get there. And I have found now 324 geocaches since I started. I actually started in 2009. It's funny because I was on Cal's live and she was saying how they're not allowed out at the moment, and she had mentioned about the geocaching, and I went and, because I've already got her address, I looked up her town and went, hey, you've got 2 nearby. So Millie was listening on the side and she's kind of going, oh, I know where that is. So yeah, they could go there if they get let out, particularly if it's within, I think, like in Ireland, the limit was 5 kilometers from home or 5 miles from home kind of thing. If Cal is able to go 5 miles from home, these would be an easy pickup for her. So yeah, it was just kind of, you know, here's something to do that you can enjoy. Get out and do it, and that kind of thing. And, you know, she was familiar with the hobby and that kind of thing. So, and then there was all the enabling. I was putting up links of all the cute stuff, and it was funny as. Arbara's trying to avoid being enabled. She's going to have to stop coming into the lives because it's just not going to happen. We're just going to torture her and be mean. And show her all the pretties. And it was so nice to be able to catch up with Rachel. She was in the chat. She had internet access, and yeah, she joined in for a bit, and that was cool. Really, really cool. Because, you know, you're missed, Rach. And it'd be so good when you get connection back, and we get to chat more often. I take my knitting on the road trips, as you know. I took my knitting. What I had done, I'd actually photocopied the original pattern, because the original pattern was printed on, have you got an American A4 size paper? It's not quite typical A4. There's a different, it's a letter size or something. Well, either way, this pattern was photocopied, printed on not quite A4 paper. It was fatter and shorter, so it wouldn't fit into my little folders very well, and I was trimming it and that kind of thing to fit it into my A4 pocket. So what I decided to do, instead of damaging it further, I decided to photocopy it. Well, when I photocopied it, I sent it through the automatic feeder, and it must have sucked in the last 3 pages as one page, so I missed photocopying the lace pattern. and the second instruction sheet. So I sent Rachel a message while I was on the road saying, hey, do you happen to have your pattern handy? And she went, no. And I wasn't willing to go online and pay $9 for a pattern I already owned. So I got to the end of my section and put the knitting away and just enjoyed the scenery, which was gorgeous.
And my fantastic driving.
And the fantastic car. Oh. No, it was really, really cool. Just looking around and enjoying the beautiful contrasts of grass, kind of rolling hills, and then these rugged mountains and the twisty roads and everything else. And yeah, and it was cool. And we were stopping every, I don't know, every couple of kilometers to 20 kilometers.
The car's called a cruiser.
Yeah. It's such a comfortable car, and Marcus is still kind of saying if it was Norbert the Jeep, he would not be able to drive the way he's able to drive in Treva. So yeah, it is a pleasure. It's quiet. He sticks on the cruise control. It picks up if there's a car in front of him. He can set the automated cruise control so that it keeps pace with the car in front, and he doesn't even have to be on the accelerator. All he has to do is give the incidental feedback through to the steering wheel, and the car's happy. And every now and then Karen opens her trap and says, slow down, you idiot,
and don't cross the
and stop crossing the line. It beeps when you cross the center line, and Karen chirps when the speed is 8 kilometers over what it should be. And so, yeah, we've called her Karen because it's like, shut up, Karen.
She complains before the outside of the right wheel crosses the line, because I know I haven't hit the cat's eyes. Yeah.
So it's very much attentive, and apparently it's supposed to crash avoidance and all that kind of thing. We're not going to test that one out quite.
As we know, Marcus is really funny with cat's eyes, isn't he?
Yes, Marcus can actually hit cat's eyes with either the left or the right wheel, whichever he chooses.
Alternately.
Yes, he can he knows where they are. Yeah, it's quite funny. But he knows where the wheels are.
Here's the story. One day she says, "You're too close to the left-hand side of the road," and I said, "Are you suggesting that I don't know where my wheels are?" And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Here, watch this." And I went, left wheel, left cat's eye, snake to the other side of the lane, right wheel, right cat's eye, and I do left, right, left, right, left.
And this is just staying within the lane.
On a curve.
Yeah. Anyway, he's able to pick where the wheels are.
There's never been any argument about that ever since, has there?
No. So no, he's got to know the car. He reckons it'll still be another couple of years before he really knows the car, but he's certainly playing with it and having fun, and it does put a smile on his face when he gets to drive and have a pleasurable drive. And the car knows. Norbert the Jeep panicked when you put your foot on the brake at the same time as the accelerator. Marcus does what's called left foot braking, and Norbert would just go ah and just have a brain fart and stop.
No, I did actually get to the point where I could touch the brake a little bit. But if you just,
whereas Trevor is smart enough to go left foot braking. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, left foot braking is a thing.
And his dad is his dad is actually Mr. Communications with the racing, Targa racing, street racing here, so he knows how to drive, and he's been driving all around the country and all that kind of jazz. And
he used to be the pit crew for one of his mates who was a Formula 3 driver. Yeah,
so this style of driving isn't even recommended by Ron. But Marcus has learned to left foot brake, which with his left foot as gentle on the brake as you would drive with your right foot on a brake. So, you know, the slow, steady creep. But what he does is he loads up the car, so he's got his foot on the brake and his foot on the accelerator, so the car just squats down on a corner and just pushes through. It's a really comfortable drive, and it's a really nice technique. But yeah, his dad was kind of going, no, you don't want to do that.
No, because the car's too...
and then the computer wouldn't understand it, because he had the technician kind of going, oh, no, you don't do that. And Marcus is kind of going, well, you do, and it works. So, yeah, even the technician's kind of going, no, 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 no. But racing car drivers do this technique.
60 odd.
Yeah, old styley driving. I can't left foot brake. My foot is too. It's the clutch.
It takes too many decades of practice.
You have to. It's an awful lot of learning to left foot brake. So.
Then try heel toe double clutch.
Yeah, and oh
Left
god,
braking. Yeah.
that's all kinds of confusing to me. All right, I'm done. I'll leave you to it. If you're interested in anything flossy, go check out my FlossTube live. That was a bit of fun. I don't normally go live, so yeah, it was like, am I there? I was supposed to schedule and it just went live, so it's a little bit weird at the beginning, but then it gets in the flow and everyone was awesome. But it was the only way I found I could actually show you guys all my floss progress. So the video is up there now and you can see that. Alright, I'm done. All her hair is done. Well, all her pink hair is done. Look at the... Yeah, we're going into the purples next. So, yeah, lots of purples. I think we're pretty much done with the pink. A couple of streaks of E there, but we're pretty done with that. So there she is, Galaxy, from Diamond Art Club. I don't know if it's in stock at the moment. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description and you can check her out. Diamond Art Club video going up on Thursday. Excuse me. And yeah, we'll see what's happening. I have a short working week this week. Yay. 2 more days of work and then I'm off for 4. So that would be awesome. Probably go and do something with Sophie. She really enjoys geocaching and she'll kind of go, let's go, let's go. So that's all kinds of...
You've just gone back to work and now we've got more time off.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, you know, so we'll do something when the kid's at school and then when the kid's home. I don't know, we'll figure out what we're going to do for Sophie for her birthday. So there'll be pictures of that as well. But yeah, our little girl is 3.
Oh, sorry. And you're under 50.
Yeah, and all the rest of my kids are over 20. Gee. Alright. Yeah, I will see you around and just take care of yourselves and I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.